Hey, beautiful people. Today I'm going to be teaching you how you can make your very own SEO directory for any kind of restaurant or bar. We're going to be taking my buddy Ian's breweries nearby as an example and just cloning it. Shout out Ian. Definitely follow him. And what we're going to do is we're going to use four main things. We're going to use Mimix to scaffold and build the app. We're going to use Cursor to interact with our code, and we're going to use Firebase for the database. And then finally, to find these places, we're going to use the Google Places API, which is super easy. And like I said, this site gets a ton of traffic because he's got a good domain name. And some of the keys are he's got it set up for programmatic SEO, where each city has its own landing page with text and all of these breweries here. And then this is UGC, where people upload their reviews. So we're going to do this, but we're going to do it for barbecue. So it's going to be barbecuenearby.com. And you could do this with Chinese nearby, bagels nearby, like coffee nearby. And I think it would work. It's a good SEO play. And we're going to start here in Mimix. So this is a sponsored video sponsored by Mimix, but I've been reaching towards this to start all of my projects lately. It helps you do that first kind of writer's block, like set up the project, and it's really good at it. It's a little bit like Cursor, but with less coding and just more like chat. And I really like these templates that they have. We're going to use their Firebase and Next.js template. So let's get started. Let's start a new project here. And so what I've done is I've gone ahead and kind of talked this idea through with ChatGPT, and this is a really important step. So I kind of linked them to Ian's site breweries nearby. I included some screenshots of like what I like, and I've talked through the user flow. And so our main thing is we want to make this so that when users come to the site, all they want to do is just search and find barbecue, right? We don't want to get them bogged down with reviews, creating an account, adding a new barbecue spot. We just want them to take that like one action. And I think that's how you make really powerful, stupid, simple apps is just honing in on that like core MVP. So I went back and forth and kind of asked about Google's APIs and how we can do storage and Firebase. And I asked it to generate me a PRD, which is a product requirements doc. And it looks like this. Boom. So it's got laid out. We're going to use ShadCN also. That's a component library. So instead of building every card or details or button component from scratch, you can just go ahead and pull from ShadCN's existing library, and it looks really good. So I took all of this and we're just going to paste it into Mimix start. So here we go. All right. I'm going to click go. And there's that setup Firebase project. Hopefully it's going to let me do this after going. Okay. All right. So it's already got its own setup checklist that Mimix provides for setting up a Firebase in Next.js project. So it's going to do the same thing every time. Let's proceed with Firebase setup. All right. And it can access our terminal and our local file system. So it's going to go ahead and just scaffold out this project for us and run code in the terminal for us, which is really cool. So if we go into Cursor, we should be able to just see it building this out. Here we go. So here we go. All right, this is great. Looks like we're off to a good start. Now it's going to add in all the Firebase stuff that we need, which this is such a pain point setting up projects. So let's actually, I want to do it in this account. Okay. Okay. Click add project, enter barbecue near. Okay. Boom. I don't think we need Gemini. Let's just do it and see what happens. Okay. You can start with Google Analytics, which is really awesome. It'll already just have Google Analytics installed, so you won't have to configure it or set that up for your website. So that's really nice. Okay, it's ready. We want to click on web. Also set up Firebase hosting. So this is nice because it'll also host this for us. So we don't need to go deploy this to like Vercel or AWS or something. Just do it all in one place. Okay, so I think we've already done this and this. And then authentication. Enable Google. I wanted to do email and password, but I guess we're rolling with Google Auth. Okay, so that was so easy. That's usually like an 8-step process is getting Google Auth integrated in your app. So that was really easy. I have completed steps 1 through 3. All right, so it's checked all of these off and it's checklist. That's so nice. Like, it's so nice not having to worry about making your own checklists when you're using AI coding apps because I just like to let the experts kind of tell me like how these projects should be structured, right? Firebase project ID. Okay. Okay. Let's go back here. Boom. And okay. So let's paste this in. Okay. Now these are sensitive. These keys that I just pasted, I'll change them once this goes live. But yeah, just keep that in mind. You could even go in and like cursor and manually do this if you don't want this like on some server somewhere. Okay. I really like this. Like this is so much smoother so far than scaffolding something like in the terminal with cursor and going through lots of steps. Like it knows how to set it up. Like it doesn't change how to set up Firebase and Next.js project. So it just does it right, which I really like. Okay. We don't want Google in. Okay, cool. So that's our like templated landing page. Wow. Okay. And it's using an MCP here to use the browser. That's really cool. Okay. I think we had a problem. I'm not sure it really authenticated. Um, oh, okay. Yeah. So I think I'm logged into my Firebase on my other email. So let's do Firebase log out. Okay. Just logged into Firebase on the correct account. Sorry about that. I am using Super Whisper to dictate. It's really helpful for, it's just faster than typing. I definitely recommend it for any kind of vibe coding. Cool. Okay. I'm not sure why we're deploying to production. I guess right now it's just like making sure all the Firebase stuff is super tight before the actual app functionality, which is smart because I usually do the other way and build the whole app out and then try to build authentication and hosting and everything on top. And that's probably not the right way to do it. Oh, okay. So it wants to put this authorized domains in. Okay. Firebase console authenticate authorized domains. Yeah, I think we already have that in there. Yeah. Proceed. I already have my places API key. Else do you need? I'm just going to go ahead and give it this. And again, this is sensitive, so I'll have to re-roll this before the video goes live. And again, I want to emphasize that you shouldn't be pasting API keys willy-nilly. The proper thing to do would be to go into the code and go into wherever. I'm not sure if my secrets file is in here or in Firebase, but there should be like a .env. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so I should be putting it in here instead of just pasting it right into Memex, but for the purposes of this demo, it's okay. Okay, editor Billy here. Apparently, I was totally wrong. I misunderstood when I said don't paste your secrets in here. So if you paste it in here, Mimix will say never handle it directly. Um, it won't read the key. It won't put them in the terminal. It won't handle the secret anyway to expose it further. So that's great. And then you come down into settings, secrets, open AI API key, and you can add it right in here like this. Cool. Okay. This is so exciting. This is so easy. I feel like we're already making tons of progress. Okay, so it's going to set up cloud functions, and that's going to let Firebase act as the server for doing things like Google Places searches for us instead of us having to actually do it like in the apps code. So pretty much like our code just directs Firebase on what cloud functions to build and run, and then the front end, and then tells Firebase how to do the back end. So it's really lightweight. You don't have to store all that stuff locally, which is nice. And make sure I'm not crazy here. Yeah. Yep. So let's go back and see what Mimix is doing. I wonder if it's stuck on this. Okay, so I'm going to help it out here. I noticed you're having trouble with cloud function initialization in terminal. Here's where we're at. Can you direct me through what to choose from the options? Also, you can just take over if you want, but I saw that you were stuck on the what language do you want to use to write cloud functions. So it's good to check and see. I don't know if it was really stuck, but okay. It wants us to not use this. It wants us to do this. Okay. I completed that setup. Please proceed with our plan. Didn't really spell that right. Okay, so I think how it's going to work is when someone searches a city on our app, it's going to then ping a request to the Google Places API and filter just for barbecue, and then pull those results into our app. And then someone can go in and leave a review for the place. And if there are no reviews, then that place will be added into our database. So instead of having to scrape every barbecue restaurant, put it in our database and worry about updating it, we're just going to piggyback off of Google's data and then only save them in our database when someone creates a review for that spot. Okay. So it's setting up that Google Places API. I set this up beforehand. I had to create a new Google Cloud Console project and then go into APIs and services and then search for, or you can just search up here, the Places API. And then you have to click enable the first time. And I don't know if we need to do anything else here. go ahead and look again at breweries nearby. Let's go like search a location. And then so like this is great because this is like an SEO page for San Diego that'll show up in search results. So San Diego breweries. Let's see where this is. Not on page 1. Got to get on that, Ian. Get it back to the top. And I think we're doing it a little differently. I like how it tallies up like discover all 91. So okay, so this one doesn't have any reviews. So I can't remember how many of these, like if he's just like scraping and like seeding the database with some breweries. Because I feel like this can't be an exhaustive list of all breweries. Oh, this is exciting. It's working on the landing page. Let's see if we can go back in and just. Oh, so he isn't deployed. He being Mimix. So is this. Okay, I don't think it's running anywhere, so we can't see it yet. Okay. That shouldn't be true, though. I feel like. Apple. I feel like it has components here. Oh, cool. So it is using Shadcn for UI. Let me show you guys this real quick. It's sick. It's just all of these pre-built components, and you can kind of pick and choose. And so like if you wanted, say, a card, all you would do is in your project, if you're coding this yourself, run npm shadcn latest add card, and then that would be added into your component folder in your local files. It's super cool. I just think everything looks clean. Okay. But is it still creating these instead of just using. Okay, import CN. Okay. So I think this is styling. So it's adding these styles on top of like the Shadcn components. Okay, so it automatically pauses. You can set a limit on how many turns it can do by itself. And then this little context, I don't want to break it, but this little context meter will fill up when the AI's brain is too full. And you can, I think, either clear the context or start a new chat, but we're at 23% right now. There's so many components. I'm really confused about this structure, if it's like a Firebase structure. Oh, okay, who cares? It looks like it's working. Let's search. Is there barbecue in San Diego? That's too cool. Okay. Wow. So I don't think it's connected to the Google Places API yet, but I wonder how we can see the checklist. Oh, and it's got these rules docs already pre-made. That's super nice. Whoa. Oh, think you messed something up. Shoot. I see. The SaaS template, when I go to our production URL, I'm looking at the project structure and it looks like we have like two apps like nested within each other. Can you check it out and clean it up and confirm which directory you're working in right now? I think our barbecue app is working somewhere, just like in a subdirectory. So we need to fix this. And I should have toggled it to chat there. It's nice. You can toggle it to chat so that it won't write code. It'll just talk to you. You're absolutely right. Classic AI chatter. Barbecue nearby discovery. Okay. So it's in this directory. But like it has so many subdirectories. Oh, it's thinking it was something wrong with the cache. Ah, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's not. I see. Oh, darn. I mean, I think it's working. I'll use your location. Okay. Please fix the styling in this hero section so that we can actually see the text in the input box and in that use location button below. We also should use some form of autocomplete for when people are typing in cities. Can you figure out the best way to do that? Can we just use like a package of US city names, or should we be pulling from the Google Places API? Should we just save a list in the database? What would reduce API calls and like cut out latency? I probably sound like such an idiot. What's it trying to do now? Oh, it's trying to close the browser. Also, I noticed that when I go to the sign in button, we're seeing the sign in page for the SaaS template. We need to make sure all our pages are for like our barbecue app. Why do we still have any SaaS template pages? Can you clean it up and maybe refactor our directory structure so that we're not using the old SaaS template pages? Make sure everything works with Firebase. Okay. Okay. Cities.json. Okay. It's just hard coding these in. That's funny. And then this needs to be a link back to the home page. Okay, where is it running this? Okay, it's running in the hosting. I don't understand why it's freaking. Okay, it's deploying this fix. Oh, we don't have the details page yet. You got just a running list of stuff to do. So build a new features to do list and add this to the top. Which is to refactor the all cities page and the cities list that's on the homepage. It should sort similar to the screenshot from breweries.com by the cities that have the most barbecue spots saved in our system, which means users have reviewed them. Then third, we need to build out the barbecue spot details page. Fourth, we need to build out the user profile page and all the gamification and account creation. Fifth, we also need to make sure we have our adding a review workflow set up. Create a checklist with features to build and reorganize these as you see fit. And then come back to me with a plan and I'll tell you whether to get started. Don't write any code except making that detailed features to do list. Okay, fix the styling. Oh, autocomplete doesn't work. Sixth, we need to debug the city autocomplete. It's not showing the state and it's just showing like a list. It's like showing the same city multiple times. Seventh, when we actually search for the cities, it doesn't change which barbecue spots are shown. So we need to either create a search results page or update the homepage to show those search results from the Google Places API. Okay, so I'm telling it to put all this into a plan. Hey, editor Billy here. Okay, I'm going to try to demonstrate this again. Look at our landing page code and tell me how we can improve the UI. So basically what I'm trying to show here is when I look back at the footage, I think there were a couple times where I interrupted Mimix while it was still working and it found some issues with the page. So I interrupted it. So I'm trying to show that you should wait for the little da-da-da chime that means that Mimix is done working. See, but it just does that little noise. Also, if you're doing what I just did, so run the dev server and it's running the server and you're poking around on the site and you run into an error, like a React error or something that goes wrong in the console, I think Memex will see that and work on it. Um, so instead of doing what I did earlier and clicking stop, let it run for a second and see if Memex finds the error because it's really smart and can automatically just do things. So super cool. Yeah, like smarter than me, honestly. So um, just trying to let it kind of take over and do what it does best. So business wise, what I would do is review a couple barbecue places myself, send this to friends. I would use probably, I always say this, they should sponsor me, resend.com for emails. So like when you sign up, send a sign up email. You could send news from here. You can do email blasts in here, which is nice, broadcasts. And I would also, and this would probably be a Firebase function. I would probably, if they sign up in here in Firebase, add them to a barbecue newsletter like in Beehive and then send, I don't know, the best pictures of barbecue new places, like sauce reviews. I would try to build some sort of community there because ultimately like SEO traffic is great, but you need to monetize somehow. And the easiest way to do that, I think, is with like a newsletter and some products like t-shirts, hats, build your own like little boxes of sauces that you can send out. I mean, it would be really cool if when you sign up for like a paid newsletter subscription, you just get some barbecue sauces sent to your house. And then on the other end, you could charge barbecue places to promote to people in their city. So they'll be at like the top of the list, or they could do like a custom, like first time, like discount or show their specials or upload their menu. I think once you get enough traffic, that's a really easy sale because if I own a barbecue restaurant in Kansas City and I know that, you know, hundreds of people are searching for barbecue near me in Kansas City, like that's valuable real estate. Um, so that's where I go for monetization. search for spots and query the Google Places API, they're going to be adding in more cities. And then we'll have, yeah, new cities with barbecue spots. So we need to make sure we can dynamically create new cities based on when people add new barbecue spots to review in. Let's just constrain this to the United States to start, just to make things simpler. So people can't search like London barbecue. Is that going to confuse it? Probably will. This looks so sweet. And you notice how we haven't even had to go into Firebase since it's just using the terminal itself to interact with Firebase? It's pretty sweet. Barbecue themed authentication pages. And then like kind of at the end, the final steps I would do is I would tell it to update this title. So it says like barbecue nearby here. Pick like an emoji, like a fire emoji or pig emoji that goes here. I would tell it to add templated SEO data to each page. So it has meta title, meta description, and then maybe some sort of SEO schema that'll help with SEO. And I would tell it to create a sitemap that builds every time we load so that we can put that sitemap into Google Search Console and get search data and Google can crawl us. But that's pretty easy to do on your own. You pretty much just like, I think it's like literally npm install sitemap. Yeah. I don't even think you need to generate. Yeah, I think you would just install this. So we should add that to the checklist. I wonder where it's storing that checklist. Um, well, this is a huge to-do list. Should be interesting. Okay, I think the only thing we need to do is demo the Google Places API. I think that's like the last thing. And then we can say that this app works. Well, cool. So probably just going to let this go in the background for a second. Okay, guys, so I stepped away from my computer and let Mimix work. The app's working now beautifully. So if we type in a city, it's going to suggest autocomplete pulling from Google's API, which is sweet. And then all of these are pulled in from the Google API and pages are created on the fly. I think this is dummy data, so we need to fix that. But if we click in, it's actually creating this page for the first time. And then, oh, of course, we get an error while we're demoing. Let's try this again. So we're going to search Austin. And so what's supposed to happen is we click in and it dynamically generates a new page. Okay, great. And this page is saved to our database. We can upload a photo or write a review. We've got Google Auth. Okay, so we just logged in and it took me back, but let's go back in and I haven't tested the reviews yet. Bang. Goated barbecue. I don't know why AI is so bad, but kind of across the board, it's bad at doing high contrast text correctly. I do know they have these. I guess it's Texas style. I don't have a picture handy. Ugh, okay, so we're stuck there. So that's our last thing to debug. And then we'll be ready to go. You can see my profile. So once you add reviews, they'll stack up here. You can share this page. Let's try Nashville. Okay, cool. So I think the generation is working. Yeah. I don't know why that Dallas one, it must be some old bad data in the system. There's more contrast stuff we need to fix. But yeah, I kind of just had Memex going in the background for a couple hours. I check in like every 20, 30 minutes and reprompt it. It's pretty straightforward. I didn't have to roll anything back. I think I maybe corrected it like once. And that was just because I knew how something worked in the Google Maps, Google Places API. So that's the one thing that you'll probably have an edge on the AI in is just knowing what the APIs can do. So make sure you know that documentation, have it handy to look at. But I think this looks pretty sweet and is pretty close to be deployed to barbecuenearby.com. So that was a day, half day, and we got this up and a little bit more polish, probably be ready. So maybe a day and a half, you could have your own directory. And I think you'd do it even faster if you don't do all the crazy API stuff that I'm doing to kind of populate the database on the fly. If you just want to spin something up where users can create new listings or pages for whatever restaurants, then that's pretty simple. But yeah, the stack is Mimix, ShadCN, Firebase, and Google Maps API. And that's pretty much it. And Firebase is sweet. You can do like these cloud functions. And the cloud functions are how I'm doing stuff like dynamically generating these pages from the API. So super powerful. Mimix seems to have a really good grasp on Firebase. Definitely recommend. Yeah, go follow me on Twitter, watch more of my tutorials. You can book like a strategy call with me from Twitter, or if you want us to build an app for your business, you can submit a form on my website, stupidsimpleapps.com. Yeah, let me know in the comments like what parts I need to slow down on, what parts are interesting, what you want me to do a tutorial on next.